Thank you for tuning in. Welcome.
Welcome.
This is
Glad to have you back.
This is for them. It's only been a week, but for us, it's been 2 months. So we haven't recorded an episode since the 25th of July. So
that's largely my fault.
It happens. Stuff happens. We'll just briefly go over. I mean, we went to Japan last month, about a week after we recorded the last episode. I'm dating when we're recording this, but I just put it out like a couple hours ago. So, but we went to Japan last month, and we went to Comic-Con, and I had a gig, and DJ also played at the gig. So that's really why we went. But we hung out with our friends, and we hung out with our friends. Basically, it was fun.
Yeah,
fun
like
time
basically every day we hung out with friends, so that was really tight.
My name is Veto, and when I got back, I found out that my basement had been flooded. So there was water. I think it was apparently just like a minor leak, but no one was home, and it was probably somewhere between 3 and 5 days that water just sprayed onto the wall, and eventually after days it seeps into the rug, so the whole carpet of the basement was ruined. So basically I'm not in my usual spot, but take heart, for I'm not using the webcam microphone anymore, so hopefully my voice will sound a little bit better. Since I edited the last 3 episodes these last 3 weeks, I've discovered my voice did not sound as nice as I would have liked it, and I'm actually surprised. DJ, the other host here, tell them about your audio rig that you're recording through.
I am currently speaking through a $20 crappy headset that I got. I don't know where I got it from, but apparently it sounds fine.
It sounds, and I was surprised when you said that, because if you actually listen to the episodes, your voice sounds better than mine, and I don't understand. I mean, I get it. It's probably proximity effect. You have a headset right next to your mouth, right? So that probably sounds good. But anyway, that's been happening. So that's we put a little delay on making new episodes, but since we had a few saved up, we could post those.
Thank goodness.
But now we've got to get back into the podcasting business.
We're out of material, to be honest.
And so this album is one that came out Winter Comic-Con last year, 2018 Winter Comic-Con. That would have been C95. It is the second release from the group Arasaha to Maho no Gakudan, Arasaha and the Magic Orchestra, and the album name is Arasaha to Tsukiyoko no Toshokan. The Reminiscent Bibliotheca is how it's localized officially, because at least I think they have a basic understanding of English, and then they go ahead and look up words that sound cool. Library of memories, that kind of thing. Or
but just
nostalgic library, that kind of thing.
I mean, I know they have a good handle on English, because their website, they have both a Japanese and an English version for both, like their website in general, and then like the Tumblr page they have for this particular album.
Yeah, and even on the composer Minami, Yuni Minami, actually, her blog is also in English as well. Like, in addition to, it's Japanese first, and then there's like an English translation. So at least for the about page and the previous works page and stuff. So it's, they have a handle on it, or at least some of them do, The circle is made up of three. I keep saying circle, but I don't know I guess they're a circle, right? Like they're
in the sense that they've tabled at Comic-Con, and they've registered under like a circle name, I'm sure.
I guess that's true. So there are 3 members, right? They are Nene Akagawa, who is the vocalist, and then she's credited for the Elysian lyrics, which I guess we should explain that. I feel like I'm getting too far ahead of ourselves, but this is really an interesting group. So there's a little bit to talk about. All of the lyrics, and actually, I guess so far all the lyrics, yeah, even in the booklet, all the lyrics are written in a language that they designed and made up themselves, which they have now labeled Elysian, I guess named after the main character's namesake, Alice. So it's Elysian, and Nene Akagawa is credited as the Elysian lyricist. So I don't know if that just means that both the members are taking credit for designing the language, but the second member, Yuni Minami, is the composer and the arranger, like basically the musician, but also she does the engineering as well. So I guess that means she handles the production, and then she also has a hand in writing the lyrics. And then there is a member by the name of Hakuto, who is, I'm assuming it's of course a pseudonym, but they do all the illustrations, the character, logo design, art direction. Nene Akagawa does some of the design as well, but I'm sure most of the actual labor is done by Hakuto. Because the style of all the illustrated works, you can see some in their music videos, and of course I don't know how many people listening to this will also have the CD, but in the booklet there are additional illustrations. They're all uniform, so Hakuto's doing all of the illustration work.
Minami Yuni, I did some digging. Turns out she's also a retired Vocaloid producer.
Really?
Previously released stuff under the pseudonym Uni P.
Huh.
Which kind of makes sense.
I did not know that. I did my own research as well, but I did not know that. Huh.
Made their debut in April 2009, and last notable release, aside from like a one-off in 2016, their last Vocaloid release was 2012. So it's been a hot minute, and they've been doing some cool stuff since then, as we're about to go into.
Yeah. So I mean, I wrote a note here that I get, and this is more like a personal note. I was kind of biased, I guess, in that I assumed that the producer of the music was a man, but no, it's it's fronted by two, like the circle is really just Nene Akagawa and Yuni Minami, who are both women. So I'm just like, man, I gotta get this bias out, right? It's really the two women, and they've been working together since at least as early as 2013 as a different circle, Tokyo Babel.
Right.
And together they've made quite a few tracks as music games, which of course Alice Shaha tracks are also finding their way onto music games as well. But it seems that's what I don't know if that's what they do, if they can do that for a living, but it's definitely impressive to have so many songs, like so many game credits, as they do, because they have quite a few handfuls at this point.
Yeah, for this album in particular, so we've got 13 tracks. 8 of them are featured on like various rhythm games, none of which I play for some reason, and 5 are original ones. I think my understanding is that some of these were created specifically to be released on those rhythm games, and then they were compiled to create this album along with those original songs.
Right.
And you can kind of tell because of, you look at like some of the track lengths, like 220, 223, right. And those are generally what you'd expect from like songs featured in rhythm games. Usually you get like 2 minutes on average.
But yeah, a lot of these songs are pretty short in that regard. Yeah.
I just wanted to make a quick note about their language that they created, Elysian.
Right.
I think that's it's really, really cool, and I don't know like to what degree they've developed the language, because I know some they call them like conlings. Some of them go like the whole distance and like create grammar and all these structures as varied, as intricate as, actual languages. So I'm curious, a lot of effort goes into creating these. So, regardless, I think it's really it's a really neat endeavor. And I think I've come across a couple other Dojin projects that one is a Dojin circle and then the other is from a rhythm game. So just a couple other instances I've seen that use conlangs created languages. So just want to make that note. I think it's really cool.
It is really cool. I know, and I forget what it is, but there was a game that had its own made up language as well. And I've actually heard some Dojin music use that language, like that made up language from that game when they were arranging like something completely different. Like I forget if it was just an original Vocaloid song that used that language, or if they arranged, songs from the game but used the game's language, that kind of thing. I know the Nier series uses that Nouveau French, the pseudo. What you call it? A conlang?
Conlang.
Yeah.
That. CONLANG.
LANG conlang. Okay.
Yeah.
Nouveau French is is what they call the Nier language for the music. And this will not be the first time I talk about Nier in this podcast, but we'll save that for later. Some other notes I have here. I'm not really sure how I stumbled upon this crossfade, but I'm the one who's bringing this to the book club this week, for everyone to listen to. But I was immediately struck with the branding of the project. Like you can just like directly from the album art, you're like, it's very striking. This album art, like the logo and the illustration style, is very reminiscent of Professor Layton.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I love Professor Layton, even though I have not played very much of Professor Layton. But just, like the whole naming sense, and, of course, the illustration style is not exactly the same, but it just reminded me of that, and I was very, very interested in getting this CD. And it wasn't, it's been 9 months at this point since it was released. I've had it for that amount of time, and I'm only just now listening to it.
That's usually how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I know for a lot of on their YouTube channel, which they're very, I should say, not very, but like they're active on YouTube because they have some of the full songs, and I'll be linking to the YouTube channel in the description, so you can check some of the full songs out. And of course, the full album is actually on Bandcamp too, so that'll be linked as well. But the Japanese lyrics are on their YouTube channel for the songs that they posted there, and there are English translations as well. I'm not really one to comment because I'm not the best localizer, English localizer for Japanese. But while the English translations they have are rough, it's very nice that they have at least made the effort to try and open that up to, I guess, the English speaking community, because they are garnering a little bit of a following, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's absolutely thanks to their participation in these rhythm games. So I think it's kind of like a two-way street. It's that, like, because they're featured in rhythm games, they, it makes sense for them to like reach out to their player base, many of which are English speakers. And so I think it's really good that they're doing this. And then because they're doing this, they gain more popularity.
Mm-hmm.
So
some of the games, and I listed some of the games, I've never heard of them. I've never seen them, but like Muse Dash, Lenoda.
That's on the Switch.
I actually, now that you mention it, I think Siggy, who you've met, the podcast listeners probably won't know him, but one of my college roommates, Siggy, he's done some of the guest vocals for Find Your Way and stuff, but he actually, I think, played that. So maybe I should ask if he's played some of these songs. One last thing before we can start talking about the tracks is this is actually their second album, their second collection of songs. There's actually an album that came out that they released before this in 2017, Arishaha to Kori no Sekaiju, which, as Etrian Odyssey players will know,
Oh yeah,
Sekaiju is the world tree. So it's Alice Shaha and the Frozen World Tree. So I'm interested in grabbing that as well at some point. I don't know if we'll end up reviewing it on this podcast, but I am interested in grabbing that. The art direction for that was a lot different though, so I'm curious if Hakuto helped with that release as well. But if you don't have anything else to talk about, then we can start digging into the tracks.
nope, nothing else from me. Let's dive right in.
There are 13 tracks here. There's quite a few. But the album opens with Maharajah. I don't know if I pronounced that right.
I think it's fine.
This song, I know it starts with like this Middle Eastern flavored guitar, right? Like, would you call that Middle Eastern? Is that what you?
Well, Maharajah means prince in Sanskrit, so
right.
Yeah. So I think you definitely get those Middle Eastern, or I think I'd probably say Indian influences.
Right. I mean, actually, my first bullet is title is literally historically Indian prince, and then easier to remember is like king or the great ruler, you know. So, but it's definitely got that kind of feeling. And on YouTube, because this song is on YouTube, it was described as a world EDM track. And as we dig through these other songs, the ones that they've uploaded to YouTube, she sort of describes the I guess the thought process behind making the songs. So like in short, like literally this is world EDM in my own way or something like that. This song is actually a really good way to start the album, I think.
Yeah, really sets the tone.
Since it is on YouTube, there are lyrics, but it just seems like it's just vague fairy tale imagery, which I guess is a good way to start the album too, lyrically. Not saying I dug into the lyrics for all of them, but if this one's just vague fairy tale imagery, which makes sense for an album of like it's described, this album, as a collection of stories starring the titular character Alice. I don't know if it's kind of like a Odin Sphere kind of thing where Alice is reading a storybook and these are like the 13 stories she's reading, or if it's more like she's the main character of the stories. It's very vague, so there's a lot of stuff that's open to sort of in your own interpretation, especially since you can't really understand the lyrics as they're being sung, because all of the lyrics are sung in that Elysian conlang. I don't really have too much more to say about the song at all. Like, it's just it's an EDM song, but there's that Indian Middle Eastern flavor. It doesn't sound cliche. Like you could like really go cliche with that, the Phrygian scale or whichever one it is that sounds Middle Eastern just whenever you use it. It
doesn't go, it doesn't come across as like, trying too hard to like emulate that, that Middle Eastern like influence. It doesn't go too hard.
Right. It's influenced by those textures. And
I'd really say that it's only the like that guitar passage that really evokes that like Indian feeling. The rest of it is kind of standard like world music feeling, because nowhere else in this song is like blatantly like gives that Middle Eastern or Indian feel aside from the guitar.
It's a good song. I guess we'll move on to the next track. 九番目の迷路, Maze number 9 is the official localization for that, but it is titled in Japanese, and there are a few of them. I know on Bandcamp they have all the English titles, but this is one of the few tracks with a Japanese title. But it's literally Maze number 9, so I guess we can refer to it as that. It's a simple and fun piano pop song. I wrote a note here about how I was surprised how short it was. And this is when I started putting together the whole, these are songs made for games. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, going in with no context, it was at this point I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. This was made to fit a rhythm game. And to be honest, like Maharajah, despite being 4 minutes 19 seconds, as it's featured in MuseDash, it's there in full.
Really?
Yeah, all 4 minutes.
Huh. Wow. But this song is short. It's a little more than 2 minutes. I think like 2 minutes 30 seconds or so.
That's correct.
Yeah, wow, like exactly. I like this song a lot. Musically, it's pretty simple. I still liked it from that point, but it is also on YouTube, so I did not have to work hard to translate any lyrics. There's an English translation on YouTube, and that translation's kind of rough, but the lyrics are about courage in growing up and not being discouraged and not knowing what your purpose in life is. So it's a really nice message hidden behind this made up language. I have a note here. I like the music at first, but knowing the lyrics really does elevate the song. And I know this was a couple of weeks ago when the listeners were listening to the Kurage Seek Room review, and I commented about how, like, if the song wasn't really catching your interest, knowing the lyrics, it's not, is it worth the effort to learn what the lyrics are if it's not going to elevate how good you think the music is? This is sort of like the opposite case where I kind of like the song, and then the lyrics, knowing what the lyrics actually were, does actually elevate the song, in my opinion, because the lyrics are quite good, actually. And if I have time, I do want to actually, I don't want to say a localization, but I want to localize them myself, because the one that's on YouTube is quite rough.
It's endearing, but obviously not the greatest translation.
Right.
Yeah, now that you mentioned, I actually had no idea that the lyrics or the videos on YouTube for these particular songs, that they contained the English subtitles. I had no idea. And so now that you've mentioned like the theme of the lyrics, I'm in full agreement. I already thought the song was pretty good. Now that I know what it's all about, I think it's even better.
Listen, right now the chorus is really catchy. Like, this is like, it's really simple, but it's just a nice, fun song. I don't know if I wish it was longer, but it's pretty good the way it is, Is this the first original Dojin album we're talking about? I think it is.
Yeah, one that's not a specifically Toho arranges. This one's entirely original.
Yeah, but I guess I'll move on to the third track. Persona. I don't have a lot of notes for this one. Word for word, what I wrote here, this song is actually really cool. There's a prevalent driving guitar, and then the striking pre-chorus in 6/4. So like, clearly Yuni Minami is not afraid to like experiment with timbres and stuff, but also she's playing with time signatures. Well, not any tempo changes here, but she's not afraid to change the rhythm sections of songs either, because most of these songs are in 4/4, but there are definitely some times where I'm like, wait, did the time signature just change? This song's it's another short one though. So this is where I was really like, okay, these are all game songs. These are definitely all made for the games.
Do you have it on hand? Like, are you listening to it in the background like you were the others?
Just a little bit.
Okay, so the part at starting at like 121, that is really fantastic. Definitely my favorite part of the song. I'm not sure if this is what you're referring to by the pre-chorus, but
yeah, that's the part. That's definitely the part because it only has one chorus, right?
Yeah,
I got to listen to the whole song again.
Yeah, I'd have to go through it again. With the songs like as short as these are, it's kind of hard for me to pick out, like which one's actually the chorus, and if there's a chorus at all, to be honest.
Actually, it does that pre-chorus. It is 6/4. It actually does that pre-chorus twice. But no, that's definitely the part that I was referring to. It's
yeah, my bad. It does show up twice.
The second time is definitely has more like going on. I think like she added more stuff happening, more instrumentation, I guess, if you were. But it's like that same rhythm, like the dun dun,
yeah,
dun dun.
Dun.
But and it's like but the vocals are floaty, and I want to say this: Nene Akagawa's vocals are really nice. Like she has that like that airy, breathy kind of vocal, which I guess if you're listening to this, you might know of a Toho arrangement circle called Sally. One of their guest vocalists, Chata, had like this really airy, breathy vocal, or people who listen to Japanese indie music, when they're listening to like Uchu Kombini, their vocalist, had that really soft, that light, airy vocal style, and that's how she's singing for this whole album. So it's really nice, even when the song, and the guitars are never like super prevalent, but like having that kind of almost metal rhythm, dun 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 dun, like it's really, this music's really unique. And I mean, you'll hear bits of it in the crossfade that I'm going to be spacing throughout the songs, but like this is a very unique album, a very unique collection of songs.
Mm-hmm.
It's another short one though, so I don't have a lot more to say about this song.
No, nothing else. I think the delay effect on the guitars is nice, like at 135. Like it comes and goes.
just those eighth flutters. Yeah, really good.
That's about it for me.
That's one of my favorite guitar things. I try not to abuse it, but it's definitely just like a simple and effective guitar effect.
Mm-hmm. It's the FCP remix by was that
Fall Troy?
Yeah.
Track 4 is called Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, baby.
And on YouTube, it's described as a circus pop. Is how she described the music, which you definitely get that kind of vibe, like that carnival vibe from this.
Yeah, dude, I live for this time signature in like fantasy or like world poppy music. It's so good. Any
time
song.
Is this?
It's 6/8, right?
Yes. Okay.
3,
yes,
4,
it
5,
is.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
6.
I did not write a note about it, but like fans of Nier, this is gonna sound like the carnival song in Nier Automata.
Yeah, they've got like all the instruments you could ask for this kind of song.
There's still a little bit of that Indian motif, like you heard in the first track, Maharajah. You still have that kind of timbre in the not only the guitars, but
I was trying to think about that, like that really like tinny like stringed instrument. I thought it was like mandolin, but not too sure. But yeah, it definitely has that like in the middle. It's got that Indian influence. I appreciate the accordion a lot in the left channel or right channel mostly. It adds a nice little like an extra bit of flair to it, and that's probably where like the circus or like the circus sort of feeling comes from.
Right. I took note of like I wrote it as world drums, but I'm pretty sure it's just bongos. Like there's definitely like the backbeat is more rock focused than Maharajah was, but there's still like they're still throwing in like the bongo tappings. There's I really like during the chorus that descending synth sound that's just like come in. I kind of do that thing as well. Like I just like throwing that kind of synth into a song. Now I know we said Maharajah, and I keep going back to this one because I feel like those two songs are very similar. But Maharajah didn't really break into any cliches, but this song I feel like does actually just completely abuses that Phrygian dominant in that guitar part in the middle.
Yeah.
It's that is kind of a cliche, I think.
I think it works well.
Yeah, it's fine. They don't do it anymore after this, but
yeah.
I just thought it was funny listening to it. I'm just like, oh, there it is. Okay. It was another short one. Like it's not even breaking the 3-minute mark. So I mean, this is just a collection of like this album's it's 13 songs, but it's still less than like 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, it almost hits 40 exactly. 39 and 51 seconds.
But what is it? Track 5 is next.
Now this is the first instance of an entirely original song, not featured in a rhythm game.
Not yet, anyway. They might
not yet.
Put it in
Certainly.
Called Under Wonder Nights, which is a nice song title, good song title. And it just starts with that one guitar lead in the vocals, so it really I don't want to say out of place so far, but definitely stands out at this point within the album.
What we've heard so far,
it's kind of haunting. I wrote as a note here, it's almost like an ambient ballad.
I get what you mean.
Like when the chorus hits and like the rest of the band comes in, the mode change in this chorus is really nice. I just hit it again. It's about 1 minute and 5 seconds in when like that's when the chorus starts just about.
Yeah, I just reached that point as well.
But it just like mode changes right there, and it's very it's very nice.
Yeah, it's subtle
because the whole first minute of the song is just like this foreboding minor key. And then halfway through the chorus is like, da 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 da, and it's going. It just turns upwards there, and then after the chorus, 130 back to that.
Oh yeah,
that foreboding guitar line again. Very very cool song. I like this. This album is spoiler alert for the end of the review. This album we like it. This album's good.
You'll find out. We'll explicitly state that we like it.
I don't think there's a bad song on here. So I'm gonna get that out of the way now, I guess, because I'm just gonna keep saying that these songs are good. If I don't, I think all of the songs are good. So I guess this is really just going over song by song, and just saying what's good about them. I don't have a lot of more notes for that one though. Like it's one of the, I guess, more unique songs, and that might be because it wasn't made for a game. They just went a little more free, I guess. Like they were a little more free to make a song like this, like they.
Yeah, I think just like in the context of like rhythm games, usually you come to expect like an upbeat or like driving sort of something that like can get you going, because at least that's my impression anyways. And so the fact that this isn't or this is like an entirely original song gives, or outside of the context of rhythm games, I think is why they're able to, make this kind of song that, you could probably find like a few instances of like this sort of like tempo and feeling in like a rhythm game here and there, but
no, I get what you're saying. Like this song, especially compared to the last four, does not have like a driving beat. It's a slower song. It's a song in a minor key, upturns a little bit in the chorus through a mode change. Like that's not something you've heard in the first four tracks. I think this was maybe just Yuni Minami just sort of flexing a little bit. It's like, yeah, I can do this too. I don't have to make VGM. I can make a real song. No, not a real song, but I can make I can make this kind of song too. And she does. It's good. It's a good one.
I think it's really nice.
It's almost 4 minutes.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
It's a normal song.
Who'd have thunk it? I think the strings are really nice. I will never get tired of like the like violins, the plucking them. So like 46 seconds in.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good sound.
It's good. That's really all I wanted to bring focus to. It only shows up like in like maybe twice for like a few seconds each, but just its presence is a really nice touch.
This is such a good album.
I'm not gonna lie, it's good.
The next track 6, it's A Little Servant. I believe this song is also not in a game, right?
That's correct.
Right, because it starts with just the solo piano and the vocals, so it's kind of similar to the last track, except it's even more like a child's lullaby this time.
Yeah, I want to note. I don't think we've said this yet, that they do a really, really good job of coming up with titles that match the music, or music to match the titles. Because when you think of like the sort of song that the title "A Little Servant" might evoke, it's this.
Exactly. Yeah. More like as the song is going, more instrumentation slowly moves in until like the full band comes in at the chorus at a minute. So like you just start with just the solo piano and the vocals, and then it just mallets come in. There's some light synth pads in the back, and then the full band just, I don't know if she abuses the reverse cymbal sound, but that's when the full band comes in, but you definitely get that.
Well, I don't think it's reverse cymbal. I think it's just cymbal swells.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Like in the context of like an orchestra.
Yeah, you're right. In the context of an orchestra, however, this album's not all band songs, but also like EDM influenced tracks. So there are going to be some reverse cymbals.
Oh yeah.
Very, very nice string section around 130, 140. Just like this song is so good. Like she's a really good arranger. This is like I know it's Alice Shah and the Magic Orchestra, but like it really is, this song really has that orchestra feeling to it.
Yes, there's a lot of different like, they've got like the winds, they've got the strings, a lot of like different components coming together, which it really does evoke that orchestra feeling.
I think the really nice thing too is none of it sounds really, most of it, if not all of it, is going to be sampled. I don't know if the guitar was played by her, but it's there are no credits for like any strings or horns or anything, so these samples sound really nice. Nothing really sounds stale, so I know I've been kind of a stickler, at least for a few times before, pointing out sampled instruments, but here it's not really noticeable. Like I know that most of these instruments are samples, but it sounds good. So
Yeah, and that's an art form, getting all those sampled, all those voices just right.
but no, this song sounds good samples.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan, to be honest.
Like the arrangement and the production is really good on this album overall. So, but you can really tell in this song with all the with that kind of orchestration. Let's see. The next song, what song are we on? 6? 1,
7 now.
2, 7 now, of course. Excuse me. HOLIC. It's just HOLIC.
Like all caps, baby.
Yeah, in all caps. Yes.
What is this intro? Is it just like a heavy layer of reverb?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna just listen to the song right now. This was actually probably one of my least favorite songs on the album. So I have some notes here, and I'm just trying to get a feel for why I wrote them.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it does a lot of creative things. I'm gonna agree with you in that this is one that I'm not super enthused about. I like it. It just doesn't do a whole lot, and it's not something I would come back to, but I appreciate what it does.
What I wrote here is it kind of has a marching band feeling, which like when the drums come in, it's just like, by marching band I sort of just meant like how the drum beat is just sort of this just pounding, like dun, dun, dun. It's just like a driving 1 2 1 2, but then during the second verse it feels like they're throwing some extra beats, like there's definitely some weird time signature stuff going on in there. That's actually all the notes I wrote about. I'm not a huge fan of this one.
I think actually I don't have this in my notes, but now that I'm listening to it again, this contains the first instance of something that I didn't like in like any of the songs in this album.
What's that?
So the use of that, like I don't know how to describe it, like static or like just like general noise starting at 104. I don't think it really adds anything to the song, and I would honestly have preferred if it wasn't there.
I don't mind that, and I'm sure if I dug into the lyrics, maybe there'd be a reason for this, like for this choice, but I'm not huge into the song, so I'm not gonna dig into it,
Yeah, that's fair.
The next track, in Japanese, Erishianzu Oldmandu. Erishianzu Oldmanzu. Elysian's Old Man's, which
Can I say the thing?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say it. Whose man's is this? That's right. It's Elysian's Old Man's. Thank you.
On YouTube, this song is described as electro swing / dubstep in my own way. So before I get into it, this is actually not one of my favorite songs, but it is the only song that I was able to remember after listening to the album the first few times. And I remembered the melody, like I don't know if you'd call it the motif, but like the hook of the song, I was able to remember the following days at work. I don't know if you'd call it like the verse or the chorus, but just like how it how the lyrics start with the da 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 da, like that kind of.
Let me know when you get to the 57-second mark. the little dubstep drop. I think I laughed out loud when I first heard it.
Oh yeah, the Grandpa Skrillex.
Just like that's really good. Really great way to describe it.
Yeah, it's like da 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 da. You know, like that kind of like the beat and the instrumentation, like the arrangement feels kind of like a polka. Is that what electro swing is? Like I don't really know.
That's exactly what this sounds like, or this sound is exactly what electro swing is.
Really, there's still some more that Middle Eastern, some of that Indian flavor, I guess. Some of that flair there. But then
sitar.
Yeah, but then they snuck in some of that 2012 era growling, dubstep growling. So you got some Grandpa Skrillex at your timestamp 57 or so.
You got those heavy dubstep snares.
Yeah. This song is on YouTube, so the lyrics are available, and it seems to be telling a story from the first person. So the lyrics are very I don't know if immersive is the right word, but it really sort of paints a picture. It's still vague, but the lyrics are about like control and like maybe not dictatorship, but like escaping from an oppressive environment, I guess is a broad way to talk about it. The lyrics are written like from that perspective, and so like the repetition of words, because the verse it's different lyrics each time, but the verse melody, she is repeating the words. I know the lyrics are all in the Elysian language, but she is repeating the same lyrics when she's going da 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 da. Like it's kind of like that. Really sort of emphasizes the repetition emphasizes that controlling aspect of the lyrics. And then you have like the free, and I'm air quoting right now, but like the free thinking of the chorus, and of course the Grandpa Skrillex breakdown, but with sitars, so like you have those contrasting ideas lyrically and musically. Like the end of the song sees sort of like that from the perspective of sort of breaking that chain, breaking that control and freeing, I guess, something or someone who is being oppressed, like maybe an arm of the state is helping someone escape. I don't really love this song, but also I think it's really good because I was able to remember it. So like it's I really like pop hooks and stuff, but this song is really still catchy. Like it's a catchy song. I like it. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say that you haven't said already.
Hopefully I wasn't rambling about those lyrics.
No, I certainly appreciated it, because that's not something I took into consideration. Again, like I didn't pay attention to I didn't know there were like English lyrics available in the first place, and so I appreciate adding in like the context or what you think the song is about or what it's portraying, because then I think about it, I'm like, you know what, I agree, I can see that.
Right, like the repetition really makes the song funner for me, that is, because she is still singing in the conlang Elysian, but she's repeating, like you can tell she's saying the same thing when she's repeating words, so it's like they are consistently using the conlang.
Mm-hmm.
It's still catchy regardless of the language itself, This is track 9, right? Chocolate Missile.
Mm-hmm.
This on YouTube, it's Glitch X drum and bass, which you can hear.
Uh-huh.
You can hear very plainly in this song. It is very clear. That was the idea. You get that classic D&B beat. You know? Like it, you feel like it's gonna start into like another like piano pop song, but then it just goes into D&B. Right at the beginning. It's described as glitch, but like she really just peppered some glitch effects in there. There's not like what is glitch if not just putting a little, sometimes the music glitches a little bit, you know. I don't know. Is glitch a real thing?
I'm not keen on going into like genre nitpicking, but
fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm in agreement. There's not a whole lot of like what you would consider to be glitch. There's not a whole lot of it in this song. Just like, you know, like I briefly said, just like a couple like this pianos stuttered, like just like here and there, like in the background. Not a lot of like glitch.
I mean, I definitely hear the D&B. Like that's here. That's accounted for. I'm like, okay. But I don't know what glitch is. I don't mind the glitching parts. I kind of like the glitching parts, but yeah, can you really call it glitch based on a few stutters? Yeah. This song is on YouTube. There is a lyric translation, but I still didn't understand it, and I didn't actually read the Japanese lyrics, so I don't know what this song is about. Sorry.
The title itself doesn't really conjure up any ideas either.
Yeah, it doesn't really evoke any imagery. I'm pretty sure this song was for a game, right?
Yeah, Citus 2, available for iOS and Android. I do have that downloaded.
I like the little repetition at 2:30. Maybe that's part of the glitch too, like just a repetition. Not analog, but like real part, like she sang the same thing again, like the last track, just repetition. I mean, not repetitive, but just that repetition. It's very nice. That's all I have to say about that. Like, that's one of my less favorite songs with HOLIC. I'd probably rate a little higher than HOLIC, but it's still probably at the bottom of how I would rate all the songs in this album.
Mm-hmm. Which like is a high floor in the first place.
It really is. Like, this album doesn't have a bad track. I'm gonna say that again. Like, this album is good. There's not a bad track here. The songs are all unique. The production is good. There's nothing that I would like point to and say this album is like I don't even know how to. The album's good. Check it out. The next song.
Oh, sorry. Could I pop back?
Oh, please. Excuse me.
Yeah, no problem. Can you go over to is it like 153? You'll notice that, surprise, we brought back the Indian motif again. They like doing that.
Yeah, that feels like another mode change.
It's kind of like it seems out of nowhere, and then it sort of like builds off of that before transitioning to
back into the chorus with there's a little chip to it, yeah. And then like this song is really, I don't want to call it disjointed, but there's definitely a lot going on in that song. Maybe disjointed is what I want to call it.
That seems like a good descriptor.
Nothing feels out of place. If anything, it's like a Captain Chunk song, you know, where you go from the pop punk just straight into the breakdowns, and it sounds fine.
That's it for me. Let's mosey on over to track number 10.
Track 10, I've been waiting for this one. Zukan, meaning field guide. It is just a piano ballad. there are some light pads behind the piano, but it's mostly just that solo piano and her voice. It's the only song like this on the record. It's a piano ballad, so I was very curious what the lyrics had to say, because this song is not in any game either. It's another original, I believe.
That's correct.
It's not on YouTube, so I had to look at the lyrics myself, which is fine. I'm just saying that's what I did. But this song is really dark. It's about human experimentation and termination or burning of failed specimens in the first half. The arrangement of those successful, quote unquote, successful projects into a field guide, which is, the namesake of the song, field guide, Zukan, in the second half of the song, because it's split up into the first verse chorus and then the second verse chorus. So I've localized a couple of the lyrics of the second half here, and I just wrote my notes on it. And so here are the lyrics. And so these people were given eternal life, arranged into a field guide. Will I ever be forgiven for these thoughts that I've had, for these experiments I've done?
Oh, wow.
Maybe someday. So this song, it kind of gives me, I gave myself a little bit chills reading that. This song is kind of dark.
Is the whole thing from the perspective of the person performing these experiments?
No, the first half is from the experiment's point of view, and then they're burned, and then the second half is from the scientist or the experimenter's point of view.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's really good.
It is, and in the chorus, like it's like the way she's singing the vocal melodies, it's really haunting. Like, she still has that breathy, airy vocal performance, and of course her has the huge reverb, but it's just this song is good. It's really good. It really sets a mood, and I'm glad I went into the lyrics, because it really helps to emphasize that mood. So once again, it's like the song has to be, I have to be interested in the song to want to dig into the lyrics. And once again, it has elevated the song. This is one of my favorite songs on the album.
Same here.
God, I'm listening to it again. I'm like, she's she has like these she's just going la la la, it's like she's doing these la la's at the end of the song. It's really haunting. This song is one of the longer songs on the album, isn't it? It's a little over 4 minutes.
4:06. But I think I appreciate that it really doesn't, like, none of them stretch past like really 4 minutes. I think Maharajah at the very start is actually the longest one,
right,
at 4:19.
And song length isn't really a problem if the song never feels like it drags. And I know that probably varies from person to person, but even the long songs on this album, like this one and Maharajah, don't drag, at least for me, so that's always good. It's always a bad time for me when you have a short song and it feels like it's going on forever, because it's just not that great. and you click away and you come back and you're like, it's only been a minute. This song's 2.5 minutes long and it's only been a minute. I have to listen to the rest of this.
All I really have to contribute, besides gushing about how much I like it, is just my general listening experience. So you get the piano, a lot of the songs on this album start off with a piano intro. So at this point I'm like, all right, hopefully, it's nice, it's slow. I'm like, hopefully it doesn't rev up again like every other song on there. Just want a quiet, consistent song. And I finally got one.
You got one. You got one for sure.
Yeah, and then I realized at the end of my first listen that I was too caught up in worrying about whether it was gonna transition that I forgot to really concentrate and listen to it. And so I gave it a second listen. I'm like, you know what? It's good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of my favorites on this album. But gosh, it's just so, and I mean, you can hear it when you're listening to it. Just it's just I don't want to say creepy, but there's definitely a mood with this song. Even before you go into the lyrics. just that something is not quite right about this song, you know. So it's good.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good, then we'll go to the next one. Fly Burg to Endroul, Flyberg and Endroll is the official localization, and that's interesting to me because the first name or word, I guess, Furai Buruku. I feel like Berg would have a different.
Oh, you normally see it as like Bagu or something, right?
Yeah, I thought it would be something like
Or
that. So
Bagu.
I'm obviously they know what they wanted to name the song, so I just thought that was curious. This song is in a game, I believe, on and it's on YouTube as well. It's just the description just reads "A Boy's Fable."
Huh.
This is another one of those piano pop songs like Maze Number 9 was. It brought to mind to me classic Supercell from like 10 years ago. Like it's that kind of song.
You know what?
Which, I mean, I guess you could also describe Maze Number 9 like that as well, but this one really reminded me of Supercell. I started this one, so this was one of my favorites as well. The melodic hooks during the chorus, I really like them. Like the first chorus starts at about 50 seconds if you're listening right now, DJ.
Mm-hmm. I am, and I agree. Yeah, it's just a really, really nice piano pop uplifting song.
Yeah.
Really neat.
It's a fun song. The lyrics aren't dark and creepy, but it's just classic vague imagery. You know, got that classic vague imagery. It's a boy's fable, you know. But if you like, you know, Supercell's first album, the Hatsune Miku Dojin album from 2008 2009, this is the kind of song that it sounds like. So if that sounds up your alley, give this one a try. It's short too, you know. It's for a game. It's just another 2-minute 30-second banger. Like I laugh when I say all this. It's just it seems silly to just like gush over like every song, but it's good. This album's good. Like
yeah, when it really, you know, if we wouldn't be gushing about every song if it didn't deserve gushing about.
I don't really have anything else to say about that song though. It's good. It's just a fun song.
Yeah.
Freiburuku, though, I don't know why Buruku becomes Berg in the official localization. I'm not torn up about it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but
yeah, we're just picking nits over here.
Yeah, basically.
I was just wondering, have you seen like Androll used in any English context? Because I've only ever seen it like used in Japanese, despite it being like a loan word, Androll.
No, I don't think I've ever. No.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, I just Googled it to see, but like, no, there's nothing.
It's like Androll, so credits roll at the end of a show or movie.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what it means from just looking at the word, but it's not really an English phrase. Is that what you mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's not something like we would say a staff roll or the credits, you know? But like end roll is obviously what that means, but you would never see that in English, right? Like that's what you mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think all I really wanted to come back to, now that I think about it, is that given the context, given the meaning of, you know, end roll as being like credits, I think this could fit really well as like a, you know, if you could imagine this song playing while the credits are scrolling. In my opinion, I can sort of envision that.
Yeah, I mean, with that at the end of the second chorus, like that repetition where the whole band drops out and she sings the previous line again, that's at 2:15.
Oh.
It definitely has that that ending feeling to it. So, you know, maybe that's what they were going for.
It's good.
It's good. But speaking of endings, we have the next track, End of Mythology.
This one's featured in DJ Max Respect. I have played this. It's available for PS4. Really neat.
Do you remember playing this song or?
No, I've played games in the DJ Max series.
Ah, okay. My notes here are like I'm not quite sure how to describe this song. It feels like RPG BGM, like musically is how I was like. It starts kind of dark, but then there's this really smooth mode change into a poppier mood. I like it. You know, I know you brought it up before, but I wrote my notes here. There's plucked strings at the beginning, you know, behind the piano and the vocals. And then the full band comes in for the chorus.
And finally, there it is, the bagpipe. I said there will be bagpipe.
Yeah, that is a bagpipe. That is a bagpipe for sure.
And it's, you know, one of those quintessential instruments used in like the fantasy pop adventure-ish feeling music.
Now that I'm listening, I didn't write a note on this one. I'm like that section where the bagpipe comes in. I'm like, this sounds like Wind Waker. It sounds like an RPG. It's a fun song. I like it. I like all the songs though. So
that's a really cute ending. Now that I'm listening to it again, It's got the vibraphone and whatever little brass instrument is working in tandem together to close it out.
Yeah, that's good. It was good.
It's good. Really like it.
I like how there's like 10 seconds of silence. It's like padding out the song length.
It turns out, surprise, there's a 13th song.
The last song of the album.
I'm gonna rely on you for this one because I actually forgot to listen to it.
Well, here's what I wrote about it. It's the last song and it's nice, but it kind of feels the exact same as the previous song. So to me, as an album, I probably would have wanted one of these two songs to be cut, because either of these songs, Toys or the previous song, End of Mythology, either of them could have been album closers, but they're so similar that they, like, listening to this one right after the previous one sort of detracted from my enjoyment of the previous song. I guess that from the perspective of someone who makes music, I understand wanting to put all of your good songs on the album, you know? But from the perspective of a producer, I don't know if I would have put both of these songs on this album, you know, like that. Not like you can leave some songs off, you know. And this song really is very similar to End of Mythology that came right before it. And I don't feel like if they wanted to have an album of like a cohesive album, which maybe they didn't, because this is just mostly a collection of songs they made for games, you know? So maybe that wasn't the goal, which is fine as well.
They marketed it as like an adventure, a collection of like short adventures. So
right.
You can't really like expect it to be. It features the same character, Alice, but given their description, you can't like, it's not unreasonable to expect like some kind of cohesion, especially, you know, like as an album. But yeah, I definitely get that same feeling that maybe that's why I kind of just stopped listening at End of Mythology. And I figured, oh yeah, this is a really, really nice closer really nice way to close things out. You know, Maharajah, great intro. End of Mythology, great closer. Oh,
Right,
wait, there's toys.
But then there's toys, and it sounds very similar to End of Mythology. If anything, I'd say End of Mythology probably was a better closer. They probably should have. I mean, I can't obviously tell them what to do, but maybe toys could have been cut and saved for something else. You know,
or maybe just plopped in like somewhere else in the middle of the album.
Right.
It's a good song.
It's fine. It is a good song. I just once again picking nits. It's good. It's a nice song. Just I don't know if it had to be on this album, on this compilation of songs, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Overall thoughts on this are my notes are it's good. I wrote it's good.
If you haven't deduced that already from what we've said so far, we think it's good.
Too long, didn't listen. It's good. So definitely check it out. Especially check it out if you're more into, I guess, quote unquote video game music, you know, because a lot of this sounds more like, and most of these games that these songs are featured in are rhythm games, but this music sounds like it could have been really, most of it could have been RPG background music. And if you, this will be, I think, the second or third time I've said this, but mentioned Nier. If you like Nier, you like the Nier series, Nier Automata. Like, is it a series when there are two games? I guess it's more of a franchise. But if you like the Nier franchise and their music, you will probably enjoy this. I don't know if Yuni Minami is like influenced by that series, but it definitely brought the music of that franchise to mind when I was listening to it. Not just because of the conlang, but just like this fantasy mood that like the music has to it. I'm not sure if this album is something that I would like randomly just pick to listen to on like any random day, but it's probably really good like ambient or background music to work to, because the lyrics are in the conlang, the Elysian conlang. You probably aren't going to be distracted by any vocals.
Yeah.
And at 40 minutes, you know, it's not too long and it's not too short either. Like that's kind of like my ideal album length.
And I think even if you did recognize the language of the vocals, it's light and airy enough that it doesn't like permeate your conscious if you're trying to focus on something else.
Right. It's I wrote a note here that it's a bit more jazzy than I guess the Nier soundtracks. There are a lot of mode shifts and stuff. So like there's I feel like she's been trained, or she went and took, you know, classes in school or something. Like she's definitely knows how to make songs, you know. if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean they've been at it for, you know, at minimum a decade.
Right.
I haven't listened to any of their songs created under UniP.
I'm kind of curious now. I did not know that until you mentioned it, so I will have to check that out if I remember. But this album is fun. I've said this already, but the production of the album is really good. The mixes are clean. The samples sound good. There's no real distractions in the album. And I know I said this at the very beginning. I'm very interested in checking out the previous album as well. So I'll probably pick that up at some point. And if I have time, I really want to dig into more of the lyrics as well to some of these tracks. You know, the songs that are on YouTube, there are the Japanese, like they did post the Japanese lyrics along with those English translations. They're usually in the comments, and a lot of the songs are annotated. So if you're curious and want to check some of them out, I have the link, in the description. But it's a good album, and I'd recommend listening to it. If you're a fan of this kind of music, I guess. Like if it sounds interesting to you, give it a try because that's what I did, and it's good. I like it.
I like it a lot.
What about you? Are you the kind of person who would like listen to this randomly? I'm not. I already said that, but I'm not.
So I guess it as a good intro to what you're asking. I would hesitate to say that it's influenced by the Nier series because I really like just original Dojin music in general, but in specific this, I have a lot of albums that have this sort of like fantasy pop feel to them, and I think that's what they commonly describe like self-describe their music as fantasy pop. And so I would actually have listened to this, maybe not some of the songs, but like Zukan. Absolutely, if it comes up on shuffle, I will listen to it. But yeah, there's quite a few circles out there that dabble in this kind of music. But I think what Alice Schach and the Magic Orchestra, what they're doing is kind of like really top tier in terms of what that genre brings to the table. Like you mentioned, the mix is clean, samples are good, just really nice compositions overall. Can't pick out a bad one. They're all good.
There are songs that I don't like as much as the ones that I do like, but there really isn't a bad song on this album. We really can't recommend it enough. Check it out. It is on Bandcamp. So it is free to listen to in full, like you can listen to the whole thing for free. And even purchase it if you want to,
Yeah, it's available on pretty much every platform you can think of that Japanese artists use.
And some that they don't. Like Bandcamp.
Yeah. Oh, it's on iTunes too.
Because like it's on what did you say?
Oh, it's on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify.
Exactly.
Okay, it's all over the place.
It's everywhere that anyone can listen to music. Which is very, I don't know if forward thinking is the way to say it, but they're definitely online, maybe that's the word I said. They are online musicians.
You see on their Japanese page on Tumblr that it's also, Melon Books, Akiba Hobby, Tora no Ana, and then there's all the global ones.
Right.
So really nice.
They definitely seem to want to be trying to spread their brand, in whatever way they can.
Yeah, and what better way to do it than, making themselves as accessible as possible.
Exactly. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this album. If you have any final notes.
I'm kind of keen on trying out. So a lot of these rhythm games, they're free, like Archaea, Citus. One of the arcades I often go to has Groove Coaster, so that Apocalypse, the fourth track, is featured on there. So next time I go to that arcade, I will absolutely try it out.
Cool.
See what that's about. I actually, when I saw that they're I didn't really think about it until just now, but knowing that they're from rhythm games and being a rhythm game enthusiast myself, I'm wondering, I wonder how hard these songs are. So I will actually, after listening to this album and listening to each song, I think I'll try them out. And I recommend that you listeners do the same if you like it.
But I think that'll do it for this week. Us discussing Alice Shaha to Tsukyoko no Toshokan, Alice Shaha, the Reminiscent Bibliotheca. Like, is that Spanish?
It's Like I was actually kind of concerned that I want to just pronounce it as biblioteca, but it's
my
but
my ninth grade Spanish is coming back out.
But it is just if you just use like how you would like a typical English speaking person would see it and pronounce it biblioteca. So it's the same.
Right. But yeah, Alice Shah and the Magic Orchestra is the name of the group. Definitely give them a follow if you're interested in them. They're on all the social medias as well. I think they're even on Facebook too.
Yeah.
I personally don't care about that stuff, but we'll have links to the major ones, and you can get to anywhere else from there. But yeah, this was Veto and DJ. We're two dopes.
Hit me.
We're
two dopes.
Two dopes.
We actually came up with a name for our this podcast.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week with a couple. I think we're gonna do a couple smaller releases, at once, just so it's not like we're reviewing two songs in a week. But I think that will be the plan for the next couple weeks, because there are a lot of releases that just came out last month, so we have our pick of the litter here.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks all.